Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is John, and for those of you who do not know, this is week 6 of me losing my job and attempting to become a full-time artist. And for those of you who don't know what this series is, I just sit down in front of the camera once a week, no script, few bullet points, tell you what I'm working on, tell you how I feel, to really try and capture that raw emotion. So hopefully one day when I've made it, I can look back at this and say, hey John, it was hilarious, you were terrified. And I hope that if you're on a similar journey, it can maybe help you too, just because I know with artistry, there's no straight path, there's no railroad tracks to follow. You kind of have to carve your own path and figure it out. If you're on that journey, good luck to you. But as far as mine, on this week, I actually have a lot of good news to tell you. Last Tuesday when I finished recording this, my fiance, who is a talented artist in her own right, does a lot of like stickers, statues and stuff like that, and she does these disco ball skulls with like disco tiles on them. They look really cool, people really like them. But we had someone reach out to us in our area to commission a very custom sculpture. They want something like that Scooby-Doo, I'm gonna put it up on screen, I can't remember, it's from like the early 2000s. It was one of those live action Scooby-Doo movies that were actually pretty good. I want to say it was like Spooky Island or something, but we're recreating that. It's like a 4x4 skull with like big spikes, tiles, glass tile on it. It's gonna be pretty heavy, but lots of trips to Home Depot, lots of craft store visits, lots of models and mock-ups and sketches, trying to figure this out. We've been tackling this together as a team, which is how we kind of handle all of our art projects. She helps me with my stuff, I help her with mine, and then we also have projects together, which is on the other hand of things. We just did our 5th annual photo calendar. This is something we've done every year that we've been like talking to each other romantically. And I was kind of scared that this year it wasn't going to go very well because financially times are a little rough for people, myself included. I'm not the only one who got laid off recently. If that's you, I'm very sorry. I very much hope you land on your feet. It kind of blows my mind how many people reach out to me with this series, both my long form and my short form, to say, yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing. Tough times. But yeah, it ended up going really well. We didn't do as many calendar sales as we did last year, but that's because I actually had a corporate deal with my boss, who is a really cool guy, by the way. No hard feelings. But he used to buy like 20 to 30 calendars and give them to some of our biggest clients. Didn't have that this year. So every calendar we bought was from just real individuals, which we came 10 shy of what we did last year, but that's actually all good because we weren't selling at any bulk discount. So we ended up making more money. That's business for you, my least favorite part of art, but you gotta do it if you wanna pay rent. So yeah, significantly less YouTube videos from me, and that's kind of two-part. One, because the skull has taken an obscene amount of time, and two, the calendars is always a sprint. That's always us like sitting down, picking our best photos, getting them ready, getting the layout ready, getting the proofs ready, getting the manufacturer in place. Honestly, those two things alone, it's been working like 60 hours probably in the last week. And then the other reason I've not been doing YouTube videos is the apartment across the way from me, they are completely rebuilding, and the contractors are just so loud, and it is literally all day. It is like from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock every day, and I am literally recording this at lunch right now because it is the only moment of the day that it will be quiet. And I think I just need to use this as some inspiration to go film stuff that's just not in my house. Life is tough. We are tougher. We will persist. But yeah, the calendars were getting manufactured today. Hopefully we'll have those next week to send out to people for the new year. But on the other end of things, I actually just ordered some print paper for my photos. I'm really hoping to figure out, and this could be its own video in its own right, is figuring out how to do prints, both like limited, open, custom. It's honestly so confusing, and it's funny to like try and look into this, and it's why so many artists partner with like a gallery or a publisher or all sorts of things to handle this. Because the funny thing about photos compared to like paintings is, like, obviously the painting you did, that's the one original. A photo is a digital copy unless it's like film, but even then you're kind of capable of making an infinite number of prints. So depending on how you want to handle that, you can, go everything from like mass market to being at IKEA, to just being like, I'm only printing 10 of them and that's all I'm doing and that's all they'll ever be. And that's like artificial scarcity that obviously makes it a collector's item, and that's really cool. But I've been really conflicted because part of me wants my art to be accessible, and part of me does not. This is what's hard. Doing my research, I've seen a lot of people say, I haven't started moving prints until I made them limited. And I think there's a level of, oh, well, if I can always buy a print, I'll just do it next paycheck. And then next paycheck turns into next paycheck, or it just kind of turns into never. And then with limited, it's like, all right, I'm doing 50 prints right now, and if you don't buy it, you'll never get it. And I think that unfortunately, in the same way I don't necessarily like using psychological tricks and like YouTube or shorts to like get people to watch longer, I also think, again, another video in its own right, stuff like movies do that too. It's just part of like keeping hijacking the brain, unfortunately, is part of everything, it feels like. But yeah, no, I'm gonna just start doing prints at home just to see what my photos look like, big, blown up. I'm really excited for that. I'm gonna still need to figure out, I'm gonna make it its own video, how I'm gonna figure out whether I'm gonna do limited, open, maybe I'll just do an at-home series. And then there's also things too about, people disagree on a lot of things, but people in the print world disagree on whether or not I could like do prints in my house, sell them for 20, 30 bucks, and then turn around 10 years later when I'm bigger and do like a limited run. Because some people are like, I'm angry because there's prints that exist previously, and some people would say, no, it doesn't matter. It was done on like a home printer. It's not the same thing as being printed on like archival level paper with like a professional printer. It's not the same experience. It's not the same size. It's not the same whatever. I'm trying to figure it out, and hopefully I can pass along some of what I learned to you, because a lot of people who watch this, I have found out, are artists trying to figure it out. It's rough out here. I really hope you're figuring it out. But yeah, no, we got to get the calendars done. We got to get the skull done. It's due next Wednesday, I think. And then I'm going to start getting prints ready. And yes, I will start working on YouTube videos. I've been kind of in a rut, I feel like, because I really have a couple good videos in mind I really want to work on. And I feel like the skill gap, because this is what's funny, is I'm a photographer first who has gotten into video out of necessity because we live in a video world. And I don't dislike video, I actually love it. I've made student projects, I've worked and volunteered on other projects. I have, done paid video work as like a second shooter and stuff. It's something I have enjoyed, but photography is just always what called me. But video is what people just care about in today's world. But I think what's difficult for me is my ability to make video is like right here, and my vision for what I want my video to be is like right here. And I just get really frustrated with that mismatch. But I know the only way to really overcome that is just to make more. And that's the funny thing about today's world, is I feel like it's like back in the day, like obviously like we got to see Leonardo da Vinci's like sketchbooks after he did it. But like, it's funny because I think you can redo a video concept as many times as you want. Like I could do a video about how much of photography is luck and how much of it is skill, but I could do that video again in 5 years and I don't think anyone would knock it. Like I think there's a level of like, your rough draft can just go out there. And obviously if it's too bad, like don't do that. I'm so sorry if it is so loud right now. That is just the world we live in with power tools. Or I'm going to do the post-processing on this and be like, what are you even talking about? And I just sound and look like an insane person more than I already do. I need to make more videos. I need to not worry about them being a little rougher than I'd like, because the truth is that's the only way to get better. And then the other side of that is it's just volume. It's just volume. And I dislike that about today's world, but I think that's also part of like you can just like have a song idea and like put it on TikTok, or like I can just have a concept and like make it a short and then do a long form, or I can do a long form and do it again in a month. Like I think this age of like putting out only super polished stuff is only a luxury to people who are like really established, like Kendrick Lamar, or like big name people who like have the luxury of doing that. I think almost everyone else, to hit the production means you need to like get traction, to show people the behind the scenes and stuff, I think you kind of just have to put everything out there. But sorry, the noise is getting so bad. I'm genuinely just gonna let you go. And we're already at 10 minutes. I try to keep these under 8. So I very much apologize for that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Cheers.